If you're looking for something that's more professional in webinar software or meeting software, especially for larger group, then these next few are going to be better choices for you. So once you begin using webinars or online meetings externally with customers or potential customers, then these next options will work a little bit better for you. Now, yes, you can still use the free options, but the paid services are really inexpensive now, and they also reduce the challenges that can occur in online meetings. So they're worth the tiny investment. In I mean, like for instance, we're going to talk about Zoom again. Zoom is like $15 a month for a single seat in Zoom. So if that $15 is totally worth the lack of hassle that you'll get. This is not like in the olden days when you were doing, GoToMeeting or some of those other online platforms that were going to charge you hundreds of dollars per seat. And if you got, 100 people working at your company, geez, that can add up very quickly. But let's talk about Zoom first. So one of the reasons why I like Zoom a lot, especially if you're going to be presenting to customers and clients, is that you can use the breakout rooms in Zoom meeting to reinforce application and save time. So you can basically get people to apply the content that you're trying to cover with them or teach them or present to them, and it also saves you a ton of time. Um, so right now, my go-to service is far and away head and shoulders above everybody else. Zoom has done a couple of important things in the last few months that have just kind of changed things technologically in just such a positive way. I can't talk about it enough. First, they've reduced the background noise from multiple live microphones. And I really don't know how they do this. I don't know the technology behind it, but I mean, I'm a fairly logical kind of guy. And so I'll guess. Here's my guess. Here's what I think has happened. I think Zoom, at least it seems to anyway, mute all of the microphones of the participants unless a sound above a certain decibel level occurs at any given moment. And now, yes, you still get the occasional dog barking in the background every once in a while, but I've recently conducted meetings for over 100 participants without having to mute anyone, which is unheard of. I mean, typically once you get over like 5 or 6 people, the background noise and the feedback just gets unreal. And so what they've done has been kind of game changing, and that's just a huge technology breakthrough. And then the second thing that Zoom has done is they added the breakout room function. And this allows the presenter to divide a huge group of people into smaller meeting rooms to increase the discussion and the collaboration. So, and out of all of the technological breakthroughs in recent years, this one is totally at the top, especially for online meetings. This is what changes your online meetings from being a one-way webinar type thing to a more interactive thing with your participants. It's really a breakthrough anyway. So give me an example. Let's say that you've got a weekly staff meeting via Zoom, and the big boss can divide the entire team into departments. So let's say it's 100 people in a company, everybody's on the big Zoom meeting, and there's 10 different departments, 10 people in each one of those. So the big boss comes in, presents a quick little overview for 5 or 10 minutes or so, breaks everybody into department subdivided meeting rooms. So now there's 10 different meetings going on in the next few minutes, and then each participant in that department can now give a brief report to his or her coworkers to let them know what's been going on. Now, if you're doing virtual offices right now, if everybody's working from home, a lot of people still are, this is huge because now it lets everybody kind of know what everybody else is doing in a very short, easy way, which, like I said, we weren't able to do before. And the department heads they can allow each person, maybe 1 to 2 minutes to give a report. Hey, what did you do in the last week? And they just give a 1 to 2 minute report. And even if the department has like 10 people in it or 20 people, this part can take 20 minutes or less to do the entire thing. And then next, the big boss would then shut down the breakout rooms and have everybody return to the global meeting. The department heads can now give a summarized report of their breakout room reports to everybody. So now the most important things that came out of those individual breakout rooms can be shared with the entire group, and it takes a whole lot less time to do it. So if you happen to be conducting training, like a training, like a webinar or some type of training session, virtual training, which is what we're doing with Fearless Presentations now, you can use those small groups to reinforce the application. So you can teach something, then break the group into mini meetings to discuss how they could use that content. So I'll give you an example how we're using this in the virtual Fearless Presentations class, which, by the way, I mean, prior to 6 months ago, a year ago, we couldn't do what we're doing now and help as many people as we are able to help virtually, because it just wasn't technologically possible. But so let's say, like, for instance, one of the things that we do in our in-person Fearless meetings, Fearless Presentations classes, is we don't like to just kind of throw somebody to the wolves and give them a presentation, then have them kind of pop up and have to design a presentation from scratch and then deliver it. So what we do is we teach a step-by-step process, give them one step in designing a good presentation, and then instead of having them present that in front of the full group right away, we typically will have them practice with a partner. They'll just turn the person next to them, just kind of run through it that way. They can kind of see the physical response that the person that's listening to them is giving them and that kind of thing. They make alterations, cut some stuff out, add some stuff in, change the way they say a few things. So when they actually give the full presentation, it sounds better, it looks better, and they're more confident because they've run through it. Well, we can actually do that in a virtual meeting. We can actually break a group of 10 people in a class up into groups of 2, let them practice with a partner, and then present to the entire group. And it adds to the application, because now they're running through each one of the things that we're teaching them in the class, sometimes 2 or 3 times in repetition in a very short period of time. So they begin to maximize that skill very effectively. So like I said, this is one of those things that prior to even just a few months ago was not even possible in technologically wise anyway. The technology wasn't possible, but now it is. And so it's a fantastic advancement. The second one that is pretty helpful is Microsoft Teams. So Microsoft Teams has been a fantastic collaboration tool. It was actually created to collaborate. It was created for big companies that wanted to collaborate internally. And recently, though, they've added a few options that allow people to invite guests into their online meetings. So although this platform wasn't designed to host webinars or online training meetings or big group meetings from people from the outside, it now fulfills that role better than a lot of the webinar platforms that were around even just 3 months ago or 4 months ago. Because most webinars, again, like I said, are one-sided. A person is speaking and then everybody else is listening. They're typically not very interactive. Well, Microsoft Teams was designed to be interactive. So now you can use it as an online meeting platform too. So it combines the functions like group chat, which is like what Slack is, file storage and cloud sharing, similar to G Suites, Google Suites, or Google Drive. And then online meetings, similar to Zoom, but it's all in one place. And so that's one of the things that it's just, like I said, it's something it's totally new. It hasn't been around for very long, and it's taken the world by storm on the collaboration side. So and by the way, if you have a Microsoft 365 account, which a lot of people do to be able to run Microsoft Word and Microsoft PowerPoint and all those kind of things, then you most likely already have access to this, and it doesn't cost you anything more. You've already paid for it. It's part of what you paid that monthly fee or annual fee for. Just so you know, those are some of the things that are kind of out there. So those are my 2 kind of go-to: Zoom and Microsoft Teams. Those are the 2 that I'm recommending right now. A month from now or 2 months from now, may be totally different, but those are the things that are on my radar right now that seem to be doing really, really well.